Hello, it's me, Shauna Pilar. How are you guys doing today? I hope everybody's having a really good day. Or depending on week, I hope y'all are just good. Um, so this is, I think, the last follow up that I'm gonna do regarding. I don't know, your girl's long winded, okay? So I might think of something else I need to say. But I think this is going to be the last follow up video to the September 8th live video that I keep referencing. Because I mentioned already the first change that came in December, that was moving out of a toxic environment. And then I mentioned taking a step back from a relationship that was no longer serving a positive purpose in my life. And that was in May. And then about 3 months later, so this month or whatever, in August, I made another change to another relationship in my life. And this one was by far the hardest. It was also the biggest teacher I've had in a really long time. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about what I want in life, what I don't want in life. I learned a lot. And unfortunately, one of the lessons that it's also taught me is how to apologize. And I say that because as a result of this relationship, I got lost. And I damaged a lot of relationships that mean a great deal to me. I've never been a person to avoid people or cut people off without explanation, or not handle situations that come up when they come up. And I did all those things being in the relationship that I was in, that I'll get into in a minute. So I'm having to do a whole lot of repair work and hopefully get back to the relationships that mean the most to me and get back to the proper position that I hold in those people's lives. But I mean, I'm hoping for that, but I'm not saying that in an arrogant way. I would completely understand any hesitation or rejection on people's behalf that don't want that from me. So that'll be something I work on. I've been working on, actually, and I will continue to work on. But that's besides the point. So the next big change that came was another relationship that I did end. The last one I wasn't intending to end. That other person ended it for me. This one was one that I ended. And I think the lesson for this one, of course, would always be the intuition thing is definitely a big factor in this relationship. But I think also some advice that I've shared on personal Pensive Pilar, which, by the way, I'll share everything that I've already shared with the Pensive Pilar title on it, because I've done that on my personal page. So I will be sharing those, and I think some of those lessons I've actually taken into consideration when ending this relationship. Things like having a list and sticking to the list of non-negotiables. What will you absolutely not tolerate from someone? What else? Knowing your worth. Loving yourself. I told you guys before that loving yourself was going to be a recurring theme. And again, not because I have it completely mastered, but because I'm learning how important that is. So, this relationship runs deep in my life. on every single possible level you can pull. And I made the decision to end this relationship for similar reasons that I was trying to take a step back from the last relationship I talked to you guys about. I think ultimately, though, what it boiled down to is that I started seeing things for exactly what they were and not what I was making excuses for them to be. Things like support that I wasn't getting, that I should have been getting, that I deserved, that I had been showing to that person. So there was legit no reason why I shouldn't have been getting it in return. It was like as if I've some of my friends, I've talked to you guys about it, personally or whatever. And I do feel like it was as if one day I just woke up, or that like an artist graduated in my brain from painting these beautiful drippy watercolor paint. Oh, kind of like the one on my wall. Maybe I'll show you guys that one. These beautiful water drippy dripping watercolor canvases to all of a sudden painting in like HD. I started seeing things for what they were. I wasn't getting the support and the capacity that coincided with the type of relationship that it was and the type of support that I was giving to that person. Actions and words from that person became extremely loud. Not well, I mean, yeah, there was a lot of yelling, but what I mean by that is that it became clearer to me what was going on. So figuratively louder, the actions screamed a lot. One example would be one of my favorite quotes, and now I can't think of it now that I'm like talking to you guys about it. Something to the effect of a guilty conscience screams. So like one example would be when my friends say, "Oh, my boyfriend thinks I'm cheating on him, and I don't know why he thinks that, and I'm not, and you know I'm not, Shauna." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know, but guess what? I also know what that means. I also know that if there's no absolute reason to warrant that accusation, that you've not done anything and in any way, shape, or form truly, then that means it's because he's cheating. Point blank, period." So there were loyalty lines that were crossed 1,000 times over. And especially in consideration to the type of person that I was to them. So I don't ever expect people to do things for me that I wouldn't do for them in return. If I have the capacity to do something, I'll do it. If you have the same capacity and I need the same thing, at some point that's gonna happen, and I would never tell somebody, "Oh, you have to do this," but then I don't then do that in return. Do you know what I mean? So that was a big thing that was happening in the relationship, is that it just wasn't equal. I mean, ultimately, Shauna, geez, it wasn't equal. Things that I was doing for this person, they weren't doing for me. Loyalty, levels of loyalty that I was carrying for this person, they were not reciprocating and even close to how I was. And I'm not trying to say, I feel like I'm coming off like really cocky and arrogant, but I don't mean to be. I literally, though, I want to share my experiences, but I'm not going to go into huge, great detail about certain situations and certain people in my life out of respect for their privacy. But it's facts. It's facts. If I'm expected to... I'll think of an example. But then the same kind of situation as the last relationship, apologies aren't real apologies if there's not changed behavior behind them. And this just kept stacking on stacking on stacking, and I was just done. I was just done. At one point it came to me just being like, okay, I should have a support system in this person, and I don't. I should feel loved from this person, and I don't feel the love that I need, deserve, and want from this person. And I say that carefully and intently because I do believe that that person loved me to their greatest capacity, at least in the time that they are in their life right now. But capacity is relative, right? Like, if I have a 32-ounce cup and it's not being full and your 8-ounce cup is overflowing, like, are we equal? No. So I can't, I was settling. I was settling because I knew that that person was, not on every level, but that person was doing the best they could. This is a hard video to do. I wasn't expecting this one to be this difficult. I mean, I expected to get emotional, but I didn't expect to be stumbling over my words so much with this one. It's because I want to be fair. I want to be fair, and I always want to give credit where credit's due. Always. Even when it's probably not deserved. But giving credit where credit's due, I do think that this person was doing the best that they knew how to in certain areas of the relationship that we had. But I also know for a fact that they were doing things, saying things, acting on or not acting on, depending on the situation, things that they knew would hurt me. Or that I wouldn't agree with. Or that would make me angry. Or that would... Yeah. So the lesson of this one, because I don't know how much I can go on about this, but the lesson of this one would be to, when you find yourself in a relationship, and again, whether it's with a friend or a relative or a lover, a coworker, whatever, if you find yourself feeling like the relationship is one-sided, it probably is. Now, don't get crazy and take one situation where y'all don't agree and run with it and be like, this relationship is one-sided. No, I mean, like, in the grand scheme of everything that is that relationship, whatever that relationship capacity is. If it's with a friend, is that friend reaching out every time? Or not every time, but is that... there's so many different ways I want to go with this right now. But is that friend being the type of friend that you need them to be? And are you being the type of friend that they need you to be? And I mean, again, it's not to conform to anything, but I just feel like, and I think I said this in one of my last videos, like you learn people, you learn what they need and what they don't want, and what makes them tick, what makes them talk, what you figure people out, right? So are y'all on a level playing field? Maybe there's something that they do that you can't do, but are you doing something else in return, you know? And in the relationship that I ended in August, that was definitely not the case. There was lots of one-sidedness. So be true to yourself. Be true to what you want and to what you need. Speak about what you want and what you need. Please, please, please have conversations with whoever it is that you need to be having conversations with about your feelings and about how that person's making you feel, and just do your best. And if you can no longer talk to that person, because there's a few people in my life, I know some of y'all are watching right now, like, you don't talk to this person anymore. Yeah, I don't, because do you know how exhausting it is to try to talk to somebody about your feelings and all they can do is sit there and tell you how wrong you are? Like, no, you're not going to tell me I'm wrong for telling you that this thing you did or said is making me feel some type of way. Because to me, what that says is that you're not accountable. You're not going to hold yourself accountable or take responsibility for the fact that my feelings are hurt. It is completely possible that you didn't mean to hurt my feelings, but that can be explained in a conversation. It still doesn't make me wrong. So that happened a lot in my August ended relationship. I might have to redo this video, because when I went through everything I was going to talk about before I even went live on Facebook, I did it all in one video and it came out to be like an hour long, but I could mix everything up with it. So there's lots of lessons I can apply from this situation to other situations. And I'm just having a hard time because I don't want to... I only want to talk about my feelings, and I don't want to talk about these people specifically. I want to talk about what I learned from them, what I took from them, what I took from the relationships that I had with them, and how I'm going to apply that to my future. And it just might be too soon for me to talk about this one. Either way, I will get back to y'all. And we'll talk about something else. Let's see. I have a bunch of notes. Next time we'll talk about... We'll talk about the Brene Brown podcast and what I took away from the Brene Brown podcast, because that can be a little less personal and I can make examples easier. So for this lesson today, be true to yourself, be true to your non-negotiable list. And again, I'm not giving these lessons out because I have them completely mastered. I just know them to be true. I know them to be something or some way that I want to start living my life and navigating my life and my relationships and stuff like that. So, because I know that a couple of y'all that know me personally will probably look at this video like, what the hell? Yeah, well, it's because I haven't mastered it yet. So, but I know it to be true. I know it to be true that you need to have a list of non-negotiables and you need to not budge from that. I know it to be true that you need to love yourself. I know it to be true that you need to act with integrity. Integrity meaning, in order for us to trust each other in a relationship, we need to act from a place of integrity, which means choosing courage over comfort, choosing what's right over what's fun, fast, or easy, and practicing, not just professing your values. So I could go on and on and on about integrity, so I'm not going to do that in this video. We'll do it in the next one. So thank you guys so much for watching. I don't have a big end of video spiel like subscribe, and blah, 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 share, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I want you to, but I just feel weird saying that because I'm mostly just doing this for whoever is meant to see it will see it. I will absolutely appreciate it if you share this or provide feedback on it. But literally, I think that whoever needs to see it will see it. So, bye guys.